Turn it up. Turn it up. Your microphone.
Damn, my intro was tight too. Let me start back. Let me rewind that real quick.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
What's
yo,
good?
yo, 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 yo. What it is, what it is, what it is. It's your boy RKY. We got Servon, Leroy Green in the building. This is Rhymes and Reasons back at it on another Thursday. We missed you last week. You know, Servon was outside. We had Memorial Day activities galore. I was
Right.
outside. Super was on the was in an undisclosed location. I went to Las Vegas. I was in Dallas. So I was moving and shaking. So no show last week. And then Servon and Mike dropped that mic check on y'all last night. So we figured we run the block, we spin the block, we double back again with Rhyme and Reasons, man. What's good, fellas? What's good?
What's good? Cool and
Good.
cool.
Good. Hip hop. This is my element, man. I'm loving it. Every day of hip hop is a good day for me. The battle situation got the energy up in the room. I gotta give them that. Everybody who participated, I got the energy up. Even if they say we took a L, I'm the West Side. Even if they say we took a L, I take the L. If it raised the vibration of the culture, give me the L. You know what I'm saying? Give me the L then. You know?
No doubt, no doubt. So we got a good show for you guys tonight. We're gonna talk about several topics. We'll talk about LOX, the LOX. What's the legacy of the LOX? We also talk about the Clipse. Clipse just dropped a movie cinematic trailer for their new album that's coming out in July. Let God sort them out. We'll talk about a whole bunch of different things we're gonna tap into. But I want to say one thing. I'm not gonna get into it too much because
What's
Savon
that?
tapped on it yesterday, so we ain't gonna go back and forth on it. I want to say I had an interesting experience in Las Vegas. I was, when I go out, I like to go peep the scene, chill with the wife, sit by the pools. And I was hearing what the DJs are doing, and they did a phenomenal job. Shout out to DJs in Vegas, shout out to the DJs in Texas. The most interesting song I heard outside was I was leaving the Eddie Griffin show at Planet Hollywood, and I heard Nas New York State of Mind off Illmatic. That was very strange. I never heard that really outside before. I was walking by the bar, leaving the Eddie Griffin show. So shout out to Nas. Shout out to the DJ that played that record. I don't know what he was on. I didn't really stay long enough to see what else was in the set, but it was interesting to
But
hear that Nas New York State of Mind was outside. But no but. I'm just saying it's no buts. I'm just saying interesting song I heard outside, man. But
yeah.
everybody had a good Memorial weekend. You
I,
had a good Memorial weekend, Leroy?
oh yeah. I was chilling, man. I was chilling. You know what I mean? Just diving into the music. You know what I mean? I listened to Boldy James. I listened to uh, Mussolini and DJ Fresh from the Bay Area. From my hometown. I listened to G Easy, also from the Bay Area. You know what I mean? And I enjoyed those albums. I'm not gonna front. You know what I mean? I just put them on and cool out. I'm not trying to dissect every bar right off the gate. Now this weekend, I'm dissecting bars. Just to let everybody know, you come out rapping this weekend, I'm dissecting bars. But I was just having a good time listening to the music, and it was cool, man. I was chilling. You know what I mean? That's what's up.
Well,
Working on my own too. You know?
Servon said something interesting in the chat maybe 2 days
What's that?
ago. He said he sent you sent the snippet of the Clipse new record, and you said, yo, this is shaping out to be it may be, you didn't say it was, you said it may be one of the best releases of the year. And I liked it. I liked the snippet that they shared, and I liked the trailer that came out today. Servon, what are you seeing with this rollout that makes you think that this could be a good project for hip hop? Another feather in the locks is another locks the Clipse has had. What are you seeing in these little snippets that they're giving us that makes you think or suspect that this may be a good release for the Clipse?
Yeah, I don't see them making anything poor. I mean, last Pusha T project's been pretty good to me. And we get Malice, it's cool to see what pocket he's going to be in. I really do think this is going to be one of the better releases of this year by far. Pharrell behind it. We know Pharrell would love to take risks with the sound. You kind of know you're gonna get some bars there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if you want to talk about the content Pusha be on or whatever, that's another conversation. But I really think this is gonna shape up to be probably one of the best releases of the year. So I'm looking forward to it. Rock Nation backing it, Pharrell producing it, Malice is back. Yeah, it's gonna be still sharpening still all throughout that album.
No doubt. What I
I,
found interesting, Leroy, before you cook, what I found interesting is they said
Mhm.
this album was recorded at the Louis Vuitton headquarters in Paris. I thought that's pretty interesting. You know what I'm saying? To have that sound, that come out, and I think it might be like a real. It's gonna be artistic, but it's gonna be street at the same time. It's gonna be what the Clipse is always giving you, but it's gonna be cinematic. It's gonna be theatrical. You know what I'm saying? So I was really interested to see that they were recorded this in Paris. Usually they record in Virginia Beach, or sometimes in Los Angeles, or maybe even New York. But I thought that was interesting. Leroy, what you think about the Clipse new rollout?
I mean, I thought it was dope. A movie type of rollout, like a movie trailer type of deal. I think it's fire. I think that our albums now should start being movies. The technology now is making it to where you could just make your album a movie, a real movie. You could just direct it yourself. You use the AI. You make a real movie out of your songs and put it out. So that's where we're gonna end up going anyway. Shout out to Sticky Fingers. He was just at Pendulum Ink. We are talking about movie stuff, right? But so the movie trailer as a rollout, I think is fire. It's like 3 minutes and some change. Pharrell, I like the production. A third member of the Clips is the production. That's like a member of the group. The production itself, because it's left field. And that's what I like. I want everybody, let's go left. You know what I mean? Of course, stick to the traditional stuff that you do well. I'm not saying abandon your niche style. I'm saying, but try some new things too, because this is the era where that's cool. You know what I mean? That I want everybody to just try some new stuff. I know they're gonna do that. Um, so I like that. As far as subject matter, I'm not tripping because I do think it is something to be said about let's say you do coke rap, right? If you're gonna make a whole album and it's interesting where your constraint is one subject, that takes skill. It just does. It does. I'm gonna talk about a one subject for an entire album, and all these bars is gonna be dope. That does take skill. You know what I mean? I don't want to undercut that. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of connected tissue with that, with fashion. You said he's shooting at the Versace location, so that's fire. You know, fashion's a part of it. As far as the back and forth and dichotomy of the Clips, No Malice, I am interested to hear what No Malice does. You know what I mean? If he's in lyrical shape, meaning you in the pockets where you need to be, and what your perspective is, because I know what Pusha's gonna do. Pusha is, let God, kill them all and let God sort them out. That's Pusha. You know what I'm saying? But Malice, I'm interested to see what you want to do because that's your brother. So you're gonna back up your brother always. But you have a multi-layered perspective, being that you have stepped into your religious your spiritual journey. I don't want to say religious because that makes it organized. I would just want to say a spiritual journey, meaning so when you go on that journey, you start to feel different about things, you know what I mean, about just the world. So I want to hear that perspective. You know what I mean? I look forward to it. You know what I mean?
No doubt. I am too, man. I am too. I am a little. I guess I think you and Mike touched on this yesterday, Sir Vaughn. When I think about the Clips and their production, my question is, was Pharrell driving most of it? Was it a Neptune collaboration? You know what I'm saying? So is the absence of Chad going to hurt their sound at all, or is it just
No,
Pharrell is the driving force from it?
no, I don't even know why that's even being in question. Like Pharrell just didn't produce half of the album for Butcher's last one with Kanye. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We know it Pharrell with alone with Pusha. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
why that's the question
When I
of it
think
for.
about grinding, I think about that classics. I think about grinding and Hell Have No Fury and even the Re-Up Gang stuff. And I'm thinking about Mr. Me
Right.
Too and all those things
Uh-huh.
like that. You know what I'm saying? Is
Yeah,
that
but yeah, Pusha
Right.
has music after that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the last album it was a half and half. It was Kanye and then Pharrell production. We act like we never heard Pharrell produce on his own before. Like
right?
yesterday, I said you have Pharrell production and then you have the Neptunes production. And I think those are separate in sound.
Right.
And you
My thing
know,
is,
I think it will be fine. I think the production will be fire. I'm not doubting that at all.
yeah, is it about who's pressing the buttons to make the music, or is it about the vision behind the music? Which one is it about? You know what I'm saying? Now, people would obviously probably say both, right? But I look at Pharrell as the vision behind the music because every other aspect of his life, being fashion, being it other forms of music, being it movies and television, his his outlook is creative to me. You know what I mean? So that leads me to believe that the sound, he carries that creativity into the sound. That does not mean Chad is just chilling. I'm sure Chad does a bunch of things, but I think Chad follows that lead. I think Chad, he sees the direction Pharrell wants to go in, and then he plays that position. Now sometimes he may lead or whatever, but we can look at Pharrell and his career and see a very gifted, creative person, and I think that's always been there behind the music. One dope song, you know what I mean? I'm at your door. Your family like, why are you here? Judging by this gun, I got something to do here. You know, like give up the money or an angel cries two tears, front of your house sounding like Chinese New Year. Like that is crazy. Okay, and I'm just look forward to like getting back to that, and I love it, man. So I don't think the movie's gonna suffer. I mean, the music's gonna suffer. And shout out to Chad too, because it's music. Everybody plays a part. You know what I mean? But I think that they'll be fine if it's just Pharrell. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
No
and I
doubt.
feel like Pharrell has a good way of collaborating with artists. If you ever seen video of Pharrell in the studio with artists, man, it's always a collaborative effort, and him kind of guiding the songs or picking up on someone's vibe and taking a little, like he's a producer's producer. So I don't know why it's like in question of if he could do it without Chad when we've seen it over and over again that he's been able to do that. So it's just like that wasn't even a thought in my mind. I don't know where those thoughts come from.
That's a
That's
fact. Well, I think that came from like an instrumentation type of thing. Like Chad, we know he's nice on the drums, but we got to know that Pharrell is nice there too, though. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think we remember that Neptune's era, and we're like Neptunes. That's the first thing we think about Neptunes, because when it became solo, Pharrell, he was more singing and stuff like that, and we were like, that's cool, but we'll listen to this Kanye. We'll listen to College Dropout. That's kind of what we was, what I'm saying? We'll listen to Late Registration. But it's like, Pharrell is a talented dude, man. You know what I mean? Man, it would be a dream of mine to work, to get a beat from Pharrell, because I know it's going to just be left field. It's just going to be something that is a spaceship. He ain't going to make just the regular, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a spaceship. So I look forward to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
I got some serious news. I just got, some serious news. I always want to be real serious about this.
what's
Um,
up?
Rest in peace to the Knicks. The Knicks. I know Mad Max right now is hurting. The city of New York is hurting, but it seems like the Knicks will be buried tonight in Madison Square Garden. So we want to give our condolences, as according to hip hop, to the Knicks, all their fans, and Mad Max, because I know
Man,
Mad Max last week, 2 weeks ago, you said Knicks in six, but you know, condolences to y'all. I know the city.
man.
I know y'all thought y'all was up with the Joey situation, and I think I heard a New York Nick record today. Who shared that? Serrano Leroy. Who sent that New York Nick record with Papoose, Fat Joe? I think Joey.
And I
Um,
wasn't me. They
it's
I
okay.
ain't seen that joint.
Maybe Super sent the joint, or Mike sent the joint, but y'all looking bad
yeah, I
right
might have.
now.
I sent that Ja Rule joint.
Oh, you know what?
Come on, Ja.
You
You
know
know what I
that
mean?
Ja
Ja
Rule. Have
Rule,
y'all
man.
heard? Have y'all heard the Ja Rule record? Have y'all heard the Ja Rule record? I want to know if it's worth the strike. I don't even think I'll be offended if they give us a
I
copyright
think it
strike.
was a feature he had on it. I think it's like a pop or R&B record. I think he was just featured on it, but that shit was crazy. Let it
Yeah,
go. I don't think you'll get a strike. Let it
scared.
fly.
Let,
Scared,
let,
man.
let me pull the record up. Let me pull the
Just
record
Scared.
say
up.
Ja Rule niggas thought I was washed up. I don't even know the name of the song.
I gotta play
Come
this
on,
record.
man.
I gotta play this record. But my apologies to the. Oh, I ran into Fat Joe in Las Vegas. I ran into. He knows. What I'm saying, according to hip hop, he was like, "What's
Crack.
up, dude?" He said, "What's up, homie, with the glasses?" I said, "What's up, dude?" I was in the buffet line, and I looked right behind me. We had the.
Naturally.
It was Joe Crack. You know what I'm saying? So Joe Crack. So we was leaving out.
Crack.
Um, He was like, "Come holler at me. We're gonna be at the." He was doing the show at the Cosmo. I forgot the name of the club. Um, Dope Club. If you ever go to Las Vegas, the Cosmo is dope. But he said, "Man, I ain't gonna be out there till about 2 o'clock in the morning. I gotta sleep this food off." So Joe was tired. You know what I'm saying? He had to hit that buffet, and it was about 4 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So no, it wasn't 4. It was about 3. It was about 3 o'clock. And Joe said he had to
Yeah,
go. He had to go catch a nap in the room. But yeah, he liked what we doing. You know what I'm saying? He thought, he liked
caught
what
it
we
cheap.
doing. He liked what we doing. He liked what we doing. I said I gave him respect. I said I like what he doing with Jada. And it was interesting. Jeezy was out there. And I want to say this before we go to the next topic, before I pull up Ja Rule.
Mm.
Vegas does a good job of doing hip hop artists that have kind of like that past their prime to give them an opportunity to do shows. So Jeezy was out there. Um, Tiger was out there. Little John was out there. I ran into Jeezy at the Aria. Um, who else was there? My man, young boy, Big X the Plug was out there. A lot of
Mm.
cats was out there in Vegas. I like what they do. I know Ja Rule was out there. Speaking of Ja Rule was out there last year when we were in Vegas. So I shout out to Vegas for giving these opportunities to some of our elder statesmen in the game, give them opportunity to rock for a weekend, make them some money. I thought that was dope, man. But it was cool. It was cool. But let me get to this Ja Rule, man, because y'all got to see this shit, man. Y'all got this shit. Y'all got to see this shit. Hold on. Hold on.
And it's funny, and I fuck with Rule too, man. But this one is funny. You know, you got to get these jokes when you get these jokes, man. This shit is
Hold on.
funny.
This is worth. We're gonna do a little intermission real
This is
quick.
the
Y'all
reason
got
why the
us.
Knicks losing, man. This is the reason.
Yeah, Ja Rule did it, man.
This is Ja
Damn,
Rule with this record. Like we dropped
damn.
this or pull them on this, man. This is why. This is why the Knicks is
What's the name
losing,
of this?
man.
What's the name of the record, Saran?
Just put niggas thought I was washed up, Ja Rule, and I'm sure they talking about.
Come on,
I don't
man.
know the name of it. I don't know. I just know that shit.
New
It's
York, you
funny.
cooking right now, but what do I expect? The old New York or the new New York? What sound y'all gonna champion next? Because if y'all putting Ja Rule out here, it might get sticky, man. Because Ja,
Respectfully,
he
I can speak for them to say they ain't none of them co-signing that Ja Rule stuff. Dog.
rocking with the Ja,
I don't
murder.
think, I don't think they co-signing that one, fam.
Hey,
Murder Inc.,
text it to me.
man.
Text it to me, Saran. I can't
I
find it.
gotta
Text it
see
to
if I
me,
can
man.
find this joint, man.
Yeah, that's just because as stuff evolves, the sound evolves, and if you keep hanging on to something from the late '90s, early 2000s, it could be fly or it could go left. You holding on to that style stuff, it evolves. Like today, I was talking about because Mickey brought it up. He was talking about one syllable rhymes. I'm not mad at one syllable rhymes, but if you just refuse to do any multis you gonna be kind of behind the ball, man. It's 2025. Like you got, what I'm saying? It's not gonna work, man. I'm gonna just do 1999 style. It's
So
like, all
so
right,
so while we wait for this, I want to segue to the next topic. I want to talk about the LOX,
yeah,
right? The LOX had that freestyle that came out, the Red
it's
Bull
going.
Cipher that came out earlier this week. Um, and when we think about the LOX as a group, I know Super had a conversation. He may join us in a little bit, or may not join us. And I asked him, I said, had the LOX, why come the LOX never made a classic? And his thought was
Mm,
their contract situation, you know what I'm saying, between Bad Boy, leaving Bad Boy and going to Rough Riders. They were held up for a while and they were never really, able to make a classic album per se. And I was starting to think, when we think about the LOX, thinking about, the Ghosts, we think about Jada, we think about, Sheik Luch. Where do they rank? Are they a top 10 group? Because I had a whole bunch of groups I thought may be ahead of them, right? Are they a top 10 group? And then my second question is, why don't you think they ever made that proverbial classic record in hip
yeah,
hop? And it's solo, I think solo wise, I would argue that Styles P might have the most decorated, solo career out of all. But Jadakiss is regarded as the best lyricist out of the bunch. But I think when you think about the body of music, from the Ghosts, I think you would say that Styles P and Sheik Luch. I think Sheik Luch has a lot of talent, but I don't really think he made. I think his first record wasn't bad, but I don't think he really made a
Colossal
record.
style. Oh,
He never made like a record that really popped off like that. So those are a couple
right.
of questions I threw
I
out
like
there
his
as far as the
Silverback Gorilla.
locks.
I like the Silverback Gorilla album. That was hard.
Yeah,
But
I heard.
the LOX, man, I think the LOX did what they were supposed to do as a group. You know, like later on, LOX Records was dope. I mean, the We Are the Streets, the D Block mixtapes and everything. I mean, I think they did what they were supposed to do. You know, coming off going from Bad Boy going to Rough Riders, and then them kind of like going along from there. I think they're kind of cemented in where they're supposed to be. I don't. I mean, are we talking about like commercial success or like what is it?
Yeah, yeah. I think
I
that's
mean,
what
I
he's talking.
mean, when we think about all time hip hop groups, you know what I'm saying? We think about Wu Tang, NWA,
Mm-hmm.
Tribe Called Quest, Outkast, Goody Mob, you know what I'm saying? Ghetto Boys. We talk about even you want to throw Beastie Boys, Run DMC
All
in the mix,
times.
Houdini. You know what I'm saying? When we think about, you know what I'm saying, is the
Yeah,
locks in that conversation. You know what I'm saying? And they've longevity. I mean, they've been doing this for almost 30, 40 years, right? So you got to have them. I mean, over 30 years from a
right.
longevity standpoint. They never broke up. They always stayed true. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
we got hip hop talks in the building again, but that's okay.
The spamming, the spam bombing.
Yeah, it's just
I,
fucking crazy, man. It's crazy.
to me, you know, I mean, unless you know are done speaking about it, Savannah, you want to go.
No, you,
To me, it's just timing. You know what I mean? I think when you get with Bad Boy in the late '90s, the timing of that is just perfect. You know what I mean? Because you're the hottest thing outside if you're standing next to Puffy and Mace. Now I think they had some they didn't want to do the shiny suit thing. I would have did this. I would have done the shiny suit. And they did for a video, but here's why. Now, um, it's not that I don't want to go street, but if I'm standing next to DMX, also, I already know the streets is covered. I already know I got the streets. My man is DMX right here. So that's why I think Ja Rule, he was standing next to Jay and DMX. So he thought, I already got the street. I might as well go a different route. And that worked for him. So if I was first, if I was the Locks, I would have had to drop something like 98 or 99, just because at that time Bad Boy is still Bad Boy. So that's just all I feel. I feel like the timing when they left the situation, that's cool, but at this time, Bad Boy is very powerful, and I would have had to stay there because I need some of that as rocket fuel. I need that kind of rocket fuel. I'm sorry, you coming after 97, and I'm gonna drop something in 98. That's rocket fuel. I need that. When you leave that to go over where DMX is at, now I got to stand in the shadow of DMX, and I don't know if I really want to be there like that. You know what I'm saying? And there's no shots. It's just that if I'd rather stand between Puff and Mace with the shiny suit and just sprinkle some street in there rather than to stand in between Jay and DMX and try to outstreet them. I don't think that's gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. And you know, they did drop great music. They all have great solo careers. I would probably lean more toward Jada, but I'm not mad at the Styles because people lean into Styles for the bars. People lean into Jada for I believe, for the versatility while maintaining bars, because there is some versatility there. But I just think Jada never went crazy. He never totally went pop. Sometimes you may want to do that. You may want to just take that pop ride. Like Jay, he went totally into that. When he came back with Hard Knock Life, he let you know, hey, I'm going. Because sometimes you got to do that. I suggested that with Benny. When Benny was about to drop his album on Def Jam, I said, you know what? You may want to just leave the streets and just totally jump into that pop stuff. You know, the street's gonna be upset, but sometimes based on the timing, you got to do what you got to do. So that's all. You know what I mean? But the locks is still the locks. My question now is New York City, because y'all been beating down my coast, so I got to throw a little bit of a shot. You know what I mean? Respectfully, New York City. Am I done looking for the type of lyricism that the locks brought? Is that over with? Is that sound over with? or not. If not, cool, I love it. If that is over with, I love it. We can just go into another sound. But let me know, you know what I mean, where the sound is at. That's all. It's my only question. You know, shout out
So
to Joe.
the thing about the lots, the Bad Boy situation, I think musically is what they disagreed on, and of course, the regular typical Puff stuff. But I feel like they was always in pocket with whatever they want to be in, and they were instrumental behind a lot of that other stuff within Bad Boy. It's like the greatness you got out of there at some point in time. You have to also kind of give credit to Jadakiss, and then behind that, penning that stuff for it to be as great as it did. When they move on to Rough Riders, I don't look at them being a shadow to X. I mean, I look at them just being an addition, a part of the Rough Rider crew. No different from what I look at Eve being to that. I didn't look at Eve being behind X. I looked at them as a collective, as a group. Whenever they had a posse cut and they needed people to hop on it, who they tagging? The Lots. The Lots is probably on majority of the greatest hip hop posse cuts of all time. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
can't take that away from him. And I don't know this notion of like Jadakiss have bad albums or whatever. I mean, Kiss the Game Goodbye, Kiss of Death, The Last Kiss. Those are good albums. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know like where this notion that he makes poor albums or is whatever. I guess it's just like that because of the commercial appeal or whatever. But to me, I don't see Kiss. I don't look at Kiss as making bad albums per se. I mean, he stays in pockets with the streets, but that the Kiss of Death album, I always say you can listen to that from beginning to end. In my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good album. If not, that's my favorite album out of all his albums he has. But I don't know how Jada gets this thing as if he's just a bad album maker or something. I think he just stays in his pocket. He never goes above it. He never goes below it. I kind of like look at that, and that's why it's so funny when to see that he makes these collab albums with Fabulous because that's the same way I feel about Fabulous. Yeah, you can crack mainstream and have some mainstream success, but Fab never reached outside of his pocket, and he never went too far below but his pocket. He just always stayed in sync with his thing, you know.
Well, yeah, I think they compare him to Jay though too though. Like they're looking at Fab, Jada, and they're comparing. You know, whether subconscious or unsubconscious, they're comparing to Jay Z. So by default, they're like, well,
Comparing him to
this
Jay
ain't,
Z.
Hey,
huh?
fair use, real quick. Fair use. Fair use.
Y'all hear it? Yep, yep.
Let me skip to.
Come on, man. That I mean,
It's
I'm
washed
open
up.
for new styles. Yeah, I'm
uh,
open for all the new styles, but sometimes,
mm,
Ja, you may want to holler at St. John, man. You know what I'm saying, and just see what he doing over there. You know what I'm saying? But
that wasn't it, sir. That wasn't it. Mad Master Super Chat says
yeah,
no one telling LOL, no one telling me Ja better than Ellie again.
I, Ja was
Nah, though.
dope. You know what I
That's
mean?
fine. I did. I ain't gonna front on Ja. Because I did listen to Ja.
I
You know what I'm
did too.
saying?
I'm gonna keep it up. I'm
But
gonna
I
keep
mean,
it
if
a
that
we
buck.
get
that's
if we get if we get a copyright, I'm gonna feel real disrespect if we get a copyright strike. Y'all should be glad we playing this record. Y'all should get all the support. You know what I'm saying? That we trying to give y'all, man, because ain't nobody else in the world playing the record on their podcast. I can assure you that. I can
I doubt
assure.
it. I doubt it.
Y'all
I
got
did
one
listen to
spin.
Ja in 2000, 2001. I can't lie.
yeah,
I
I
can't lie.
like
I thought it was
but
just something different.
that deserves to be clowned, man. We got to come up with a segment for that. We see some whack shit we just feature. We got to come up with something for that. That's
Washed or nah? Washed or
yeah,
nah?
that's terrible. That's
Come
terrible
on,
blatant.
man.
That
He
was
tried to
crazy.
Yeah.
scheme the ocean, the orca, the whale. You know what I mean? The shark. It's like, bruh, stop, stop. You
That's
know
the
what I'm
reason the
saying?
Knicks lose, man. If Joey had them, you know, if Joey was dropping the joints, and Nick they came back one by 20. It was on fire, and then Ja dropped that, and the next thing you know, man, it's been I mean, it's been out for like a few weeks, but it's been circulating and stuff on TikTok. Once that started going viral, man, the Knicks started losing. That's all I'm saying, man. The Knicks start losing.
Right, right. I think sometimes you're a victim of your own success too. Like, let's say you drop some music and it goes double, triple platinum. that's kind of hard to try to duplicate, because after you go back home and you chill, then you come back to the studio, you're looking at that double triple platinum like, dang, that's how far I gotta go. I mean, that's just, I think that's a lot why Andre 3000 is not chasing Outcast glory, because if you chase that glory, you chasing a diamond scale. I mean, what, you gonna come out here and do diamond? I don't think you're gonna do that. Now again, you don't have to chase that, but I just think in their mind, they're like, that's a mountain. That's a mountain that you know what I'm
You know,
saying?
hip hop is the only genre, one of the only genres I think that it's not ageist, but we put a
A
limit.
little
You know, two
ageist.
two two Too Short still doing it. Too Short still doing his thing. E40 still doing his thing. We got Ice Cube
Right.
still doing his thing. Um, but we're a little ageist in hip hop. I just saw a interview popped up on my phone yesterday. U2, Bono from U2 saying they got a new album coming out, and this is gonna be one of their best records ever. They've been making music since the '70s, and people still checking for them. You know what I'm saying? They still doing residencies and world tours. Maybe it'll take another 20 to 30 years for hip hop to get into that mode, because I still think that Jay Z has a lot to say. And not to get you on a Jay Z tangent, Leroy. I think Jay Z still has a lot to say. I think
I'm not
Nas has.
tripping.
I'm interested in seeing and hearing the Slick Rick, even the Clipse. They pushing 50. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still interested in what they got to say. So maybe we're getting out of the ageism type deal. But this Ja Rule situation was not it. You know
Probably.
what I'm saying? That's not an ageist
I
argument.
mean,
That's just not a hot argument. It's just it wasn't hot. You know.
I think some things are a trap mentality. Like they're built in to trap us. We're the only culture that looks at the elders as washed up. Every other culture, they look at the elders for knowledge. Like they'll go sit with grandpa and be like, yo, let me get some knowledge. And but we don't do that. We're like, grandpa washed up. And I think that's backfire. You know what I mean? That's not the way you look at it. Not everybody can do that, but we do have some elders that they got knowledge. As far as just if you're an artist, how do you turn it off? If I hit 50, do I turn off my artist brain? Like I'm out at, at the gas station, at the grocery store, at the park, at the church, and I'm just turning off my artist brain. I can't turn that off. Like it's gonna be lyrics going through my brain, especially if I've been rapping for 20 years. I can't just turn it off. So what do you want me to do with these rhymes? Because I see some people like, well, people just need to retire, but it's like that's cool, but sometimes we need an older perspective. When I was young, I was looking for Scarface. Scarface much more older than me. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, I need to go listen to Scarface. You know what I'm saying? I need to go listen to that. That's how my mind worked. You know what I mean? So we still need those voices with something
I
to
mean,
say. That's all. Yeah.
I actually could agree with some of you guys' statements, like with ageism. I do think it exists, but I think it exists and they hold it against you when you are not making dope shit. I think as long as you're making dope shit at a high level, people are not thinking about your age. You know what I'm saying? Like LeBron James still is around here hooping second team all NBA and he's 40 something years old. They're not looking at him like he's washed. They looking at him like, hey, he's beating Father Time's ass. So if you're in hip hop and you still rhyming at a high level, we ain't looking at your age. We just if it's dope, it's dope. And then sort of that stuff can go into the look as well, because we got some dudes that still like that's 40 plus pushing 50 and they out here trying to dress like the young boys. So you could look ridiculous too in the whole ageism conversation along with your stuff being watched. So I think as long as you're doing it at a high level, you'll be fine. Because when you really think about a lot of artists that like of my era or a lot of artists that we like that are mainstream relevant, a lot of them, this is probably a time we have the most of the older artists still in the game rapping. I know there's a lot of young artists, but you got to think about all these artists that we talk about on the regular, like Kendrick pushing 40, Drake pushing 40, Cole pushing 40. You know, all these guys that we speak about is at least 30 plus. 2 Chainz is in his 40s. We just talk about him. We talk about Wiz the other time. Like a lot of guys that we really discuss on a regular are like late 30s or pushing 40s or already in their 40s. Like we talk about Nas, we talk about these guys are up there. So I think as long as you're doing it at I mean, even like you talk about Griselda a lot. Those guys are older, Leroy. You know what I'm saying? So a
Facts.
lot of guys
Facts.
we look to save hip hop are kind of older. So I think as long as you're doing it at a high level, nobody cares about how old you are. But if you're making trash
Right.
and looking ridiculous, I think that's when we're gonna clown you for being a older nigga that's out here trying to
Right.
still be in a young boy's game, you know?
I think being older, before we go, Ron, I think being older makes sense now in 2025, only because the game compounds. It becomes more complex, right? You have the 90s, you have the 2000s, 2010s. Each one of these decades, it becomes a little bit more complex. I'm just talking about the business aspect and then also the musicality. So as it becomes more complex, you have older rappers that are more seasoned, that are used to dealing with complexity because they've already been doing it 10 or 15 years. So they're used to complex business models and industries. So I think it makes sense. Like now the young rappers are in their 30s, but to me that just makes sense. The game is more complicated now. So you need a complex person, you know what I mean, just to maneuver, business wise. That's all, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing complex about the game is music streaming. I mean, a lot of these veteran artists, they've been around long enough and been a part of a lot of deals and seeing a lot of behind the scenes stuff to see where the industry has came to. Really, the ones that is complex for is these younger guys that don't have the business sense, or they're getting here and they're signing these deals and don't know what they're getting into still, and not looking at the mistakes made before them. So I think that's the only complex thing is how the music is consumed and how is it and how marketing and promotion goes
That's
of that now. That game has changed. And I think now the major label stuff is gradually becoming more and more obsolete. And that from the mainstream part of that, I think that's where it gets convoluted. But I don't think the game has changed too much. The industry is going to do what the industry do. You got to stay with it or you get lost.
Yeah, and I wanted to we talk about this in the chat, and I didn't get a chance to respond to it on air. I have that conversation with Mike. I understand what Mike is saying, that people don't buy physical music anymore, but I still make the argument that people are still buying music, and I think people are buying more music than they ever have in the history of the world, right? Because I mean, you look at what TikTok has done. You look at what these social media platforms, IG, Facebook, has done. You know what I'm saying? We got all these, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Tidal, all these streaming services. It's all automatic. You paying $9.99, $4.99 a month for music. So I
right.
think people are buying more music more so than they ever had before. Because when we were shorties, you might have bought maybe one album a month. Let's say on average, you know what I'm saying? You saved up your money, you bought one, I mean, really, like, if you was a hip hop head, you probably bought maybe two or three. But
I was going crazy.
yeah, I mean, but you was probably going to the store get what you wanted, maybe once a month. You wasn't, or maybe once a week if you got your money up doing some allowance work or whatever. But I think
Man,
now, I think people are buying more music ever than before. I think that's why those deals are so lucrative for the streamers and the podcasters, and I know they're not paying the artists much, and I think we've always heard about these bad deals that were going on. You know what I'm saying? How the record labels are ripping folks off. So now they
uh,
calculate it's like 0.13 cents per play. I still think people, the music
that
is still
hurts,
being
bro.
bought. It's just a different way it's being consumed, as Servan said. Just want to make that
Yeah,
point.
yeah. I
That's a
don't.
major point though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, another thing, like you mentioned it, but my main thing, I always ask the question: what does buying music look like in today's scope? Because we're just paying for memberships to license all this stuff. So, what does actually buying music looks like outside of streaming? How many places are people going and getting physical copies of stuff now? Or, I mean, there's pre-order bundles and stuff like that in those sense. How artists do that, but ultimately, yeah, we're paying for memberships to Tidal, Apple Music, Spotify, whatever, what I'm saying, streaming service you have, and that's kind of like how we consume our stuff. So I don't know, and in some of these places like a Spotify, you don't even have to have like a profile to go stream an album. It just won't You won't be able to listen to it in the full order of what it is. It's kind of randomized, but you know these days, I don't know what buying music is.
Yeah,
What it
that's
looks like.
that's a problem. They don't have to buy. They could listen to your music on YouTube and be like, "I heard it." Yeah, they don't have to buy it. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. And they could pick it apart. I'm gonna buy 3 songs off this album. Instead of buying the whole album, you're getting broke down pieces. I mean, for the artists out there, when you get your information, your royalties, your checks in the mail, you open that up and you see how many times your songs is being played. Even these people you don't think are famous, look how many red dots is on your paperwork. That's a play. Now you'll get a sheet of paper with a filled up with red dots from around the world, and then the check will be like $500 on a good month, and you got this whole list of dots that cover the entire globe. You covering Canada, you covering Europe, you're covering China, you're covering Australia, you're covering Africa, you're covering South America, you're covering America, and this check that just came through is just worth a few $100s. That hurts, man. You know what I'm saying? That
Let me do the
hurts.
super chat real quick. I got a question for the guys. Once I say this, Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, "Insert Young Dolph meme." Wah wah. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, "I still buy albums because DSP versions get changed all the time due to
That's
sample
true.
clearance issues, but I always have the original copy." That's interesting, Jermaine Johnson. I can't tell you the last time I actually bought a copy
I
of
can't.
music.
The last physical copy album that I bought was Watch the Throne. So from there, you can totally see how we took that shift digitally. But that's
Right.
the last album that I physically went to a store and cop.
Yeah, I
I
can't
mean, I
even
buy I
think
buy
of it
physicals, but
because I don't have a
I
CD
gotta
player. I
really
don't know
like
where to
it.
play it. I got no CD player. You know what I'm saying? I got no. I mean, I guess I could buy it off Apple, but why would I buy it? And I'm already paying to stream it. You know what I'm saying? So I just never bought
I'm
it.
I'm buying it for just love of the game, but I wouldn't suggest everybody else do that. You know what I'm saying? But and I'm only doing that for artists who I really really like. Okay, Jay drops an album, Nas drops an album. If Nas and Primo drop this album, you think I'm not gonna get a physical copy? Of course I'm gonna get a physical copy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you still want to buy
Whether I
music, of course, like you
yeah
supporting the artist. Like, why would I ever like shame anybody
yeah.
for that? My thing is like I kind of look at it kind of like I do question how many actual like physical sales or albums are really being paid for when it's like damn near everybody is music streaming out. I don't know what that looks like in today's world as much, but I'm not mad at anybody who's doing it, I just I don't know. I don't know nobody who personally does it, but if it exists, people doing it, obviously, I'm not mad at it. Artists got to eat too.
Right,
It,
right.
it's tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting. I was watching something that Kanye put out the other day. He said he was gonna buy us. He was pretty much insinuating the game was rigged. I'm trying to find the clip. He was saying that
I mean,
he was gonna buy his
okay.
own albums because he said he wanted to be like number one. So he said he's gonna buy like 10 million copies the first week. And because
Uh,
he said other people are doing it, he was trying to low key say the game was rigged. And I think he brought up Morgan Wallen, like he brought up some other artists that was not in hip hop. And so
yeah.
he didn't mention hip hop specifically, but he was saying that people were buying their albums and inflating the numbers. And we heard that the Beatles did that back in
I
the
mean,
day. We heard a lot of people did that back in the day in the SoundScan era. I don't know if that's still being done. I've heard about these streaming farms. They get the number. We just don't know. We don't know what's real and what's not. You know what I'm saying? But it just is what
but
it
but
is.
why though? Why? I mean, if I'm a billionaire, do I have to really be worried about how you feel about my sales? I don't know if that's something I got to worry about. But in today's climate, I mean, yes, if you want to get all your money up front, and okay, um, I want to be gold. And the first day, I want 500,000 to be sold. It's a company that'll write that check. If that's what you want, it's a company that'll write that check. Now, granted, you're gonna have to already have a name, an established name, or be a famous person. We understand that. But if that's what you want to do, there's companies that will do that. You just gotta find that company and align with that company. That's all. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let
But
me let me play what he said real
Bully is
quick.
coming out. Yeah, the Bully album is coming out uh, on June 15th.
Alright, alright.
Yeah.
Have you done any
BBC stuff, vinyls, fan packs, bundles, CDs, any of that? Not yet?
We sold vinyl though. We just haven't made the vinyl. We'll put it yet.
Okay, so you put it on your website and you start us off.
Yeah, but that shit's like 30,000 units or something like that.
First thing, the easiest thing for that is we gotta start buying. Hold on. Let me get the let me go back real quick. I wanna get the
He's saying that.
the subtitles off. I want to get the subtitles because you can't really hear what he's saying. They got subtitles on that joint. Hold on.
Yeah. I mean, certain moves, I just don't understand it. Now, if I'm on the come up, then these things matter. Once I've already made it, though, I would kind of start dictating my own rules if it was me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't need the paper. You know?
Right. So this dude asked him about bundles and CDs and all this other shit. Hold on.
On June 15th. Yeah.
Have you done any BBC stuff, vinyls, fan packs, bundles, CDs, any of that? Not yet?
We sold vinyl though. We just haven't made the vinyl. We'll put it yet.
Okay, so you put it on your website and you start us off.
Yeah, but that shit's like 30,000 units or something like that.
First thing, the easiest thing for that is we gotta start buying. So we were you see it 2-3 years ago, right? Is he talking to the devil? This is weird.
And so is it about, is Morgan buying his stuff?
This is something right. 2-3 years ago, did you see everyone start selling CDs and vinyls out of no homes?
Yeah. But what
You might try
how do
to.
I like beat the game?
This is how it's the CD.
But you don't beat the game by buying it.
You beat the game by the closet factory.
What I think what I should do is do the opposite. He brought this an idea, and I'm like, let's do the opposite idea. What I want to do is just put my shit up and like be like, okay, yay, sells 6,000 copies or whatever the fuck it is. You know, I don't want to sell 6. I want to do what Morgan Wallen has. I do. It's like you say, perception is reality. If I want to buy into that, like who all wants to buy into that? Because once I start shifting stuff, start shifting. Right now, all musicians are being taken advantage of, and no one can do anything about it. And no musician likes the situation. Everyone knows that it's rigged. Everyone knows that it's unfair.
All right, that's enough. Basically, he's saying he's gonna buy his albums. The game is rigged.
I don't get it, man.
The
You know what I
Morgan
mean?
Wallen, he kind of threw Morgan Wallen under the bus, saying the country. If you don't know who Morgan Wallen is, he's like one of the biggest country stars in the game. That he bought his albums and he wants to do the same thing. So again, we don't know what's going on in this new world of streaming. And I just saw
What am I
that
supposed
Drake
to
had
do?
a 750. What was it? 750% increase in sales. Like, how was quantifying that? You know, because the vinyl came out. It's all types of numbers being thrown out. We don't know what it is, what it isn't. You know what I mean?
The reason Kanye West's stock is dropped is because we don't want to hear no Kanye West. We don't want your album. Honestly, if it was right here, we don't want to hear that. It's not. It's because we don't like you. I mean, now if people out there do, then we'll support it. But a lot of people, we don't want that. It's just because of you. You know what I mean? Because it shouldn't be difficult. You should be able to come outside and say, "Hey, I'm Kanye West. I have a new problem. I have a new project." But because you've done all kind of other stuff, now it's an issue to get the ball moving. Had you kept your face card clean, had you kept your reputation clean, had you kept doing what you had to do, all you would have to do is come outside and be like, "Hey, I got a new project, y'all," and it would have done what it's gonna do. You know what I mean? You think Jay needs to worry about, oh man, I'm worried about if people buy it. He don't have to worry. He could say, hey, I have a new project. You could buy it or not buy it. If you don't buy it, it's love. I'm okay. I'm not hurting. So Jay has that option. But when you go to, when you sully your own brand, it could get sticky. That's all I would say. Now, if you buy your own copies, I don't know what you're gonna do with all them copies you just bought. What are you gonna do? Just hand them out, or I don't know what you're gonna do. But or you just I don't know. But it shouldn't be this difficult for people who are super mega stars. It should be difficult for the people who are not. You know?
It's difficult for anybody to sell records now, even anybody, and we don't know what stream. They still haven't really explained what streams really go towards for artists. You could break down what each stream would go to and how many they have to probably maintain for what their payout would be and whatnot. And I think even sometimes that may vary. Because I don't know how they do with the Spotify or the Apple charts versus how they quantify that towards the actual Billboard charts. It's just a whole thing of explaining when it comes to that. As far as Kanye, I can't entertain that because, bro, like, okay, you're gonna buy your own music, cool. I mean, the fact of the matter with Kanye, if we're just keeping a stack, is the music just been ass. That's really what it is. I mean, Kanye has
Yeah.
shown that he can ever and people will still support it if it's good, but the music just been ass. That's all. I mean, there's no other excuse. The music has been terrible. The songs has been he's making a joke and a mockery of his own legacy of music, and I don't have an opinion about that. We know that there's always been funny business behind record sales or how Billboard works or whatever with different mainstream record labels, but he's not exposing something that the industry didn't know this whole time. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's
Right.
been talking about so many artists that talk about this. I don't know why people was acting like what he's saying is so career
It's
defining and so brilliant
it's
or
new
whatever. Like
information.
funny business
Like
about the industry for a long time from R&B to hip hop. Like he's not exposing anything that's new, bro. There's nothing I got out of this that's been substantial or something that is so groundbreaking. It's just Kanye
it's
just doing
not.
the Kanye stuff, and it just
Somebody said
I
he's
just
trying to compete. Like, if I sell 160 million records, who am I competing with? When I come outside, am I competing anymore? Am I competing with Adele or that I'm
Kanye's
competing with?
clutch, bro.
I'm like, who am I competing? I sold 160 million records. If I'm competing, then the competition's over. You better go get Drake or somebody. You know what I'm saying? You better go get Eminem or somebody. So it's not a competition thing. I don't think no more after 100 million records. To be honest, if I sold 20 million, I'm done competing because after 20 million, I don't know what I'm worried about anymore. To be honest, you know what I mean. But I think it's just we're looking for new ways to create that excitement. If it's not going to be the music itself, but as far as just like trying to scheme your way through it, at this point in the game, I think leave that to the dudes that are trying to come up. If it was me, an artist on the come up, I would just ask people, how would you like me to deliver this album to you? What is the most comfortable way that I could deliver my album to you if you would like to buy it? And I just ask people directly. But if I've already sold over 100 million records, I don't know what we're talking about anymore. Like I'm really not competing no more because I'm already out of
Thank you
here.
for thank you for your honesty, poets and rhymers. Yes, this episode you should start, this episode is kind of boring. Thank you. We'll try to improve
what,
the next show, okay?
like me
Or
to
maybe you just
tackle,
missed
Poet?
Super's absence, okay? But we'll try our best
What
next
would
time.
you like me to cover?
I
You
like
know
the
what I'm
I like
saying?
the honesty though. I like the honesty though.
I appreciate the honesty.
I appreciate it.
Hey, y'all,
I'm a
y'all
little
not into the music.
I'm
Y'all
a
not
little
into
jet I'm a
music
little
no more.
jet lagged. The Savant was on yesterday, so
Hmm?
but I do appreciate your honesty. We'll tighten up.
Y'all not into music no more because what music are y'all talking about? Exactly, exactly. Now I love that topic. We can
I
go
don't
there.
think niggas want to talk about Kanye.
You know what I'm
Niggas want to
saying?
hear about Kanye. It's like you don't get no energy. What good energy do you think we're gonna get from talking about
Hey,
Kanye?
Well, I hate the transitions.
Probably those water.
I hate the
mm,
transition to more bad energy.
what's
Um,
that?
I want to talk some law and hip hop. The Diddy trials going on. We talked about that yesterday, and we had some new information that came across the pipeline with Tory Lanez. I don't want to touch on it briefly, but it seems like some new evidence has emerged that he may not be guilty of, in fact, the crime he's been convicted of. who knows? I haven't really gone into it, but it looks like he
That's
may have
that's
a case.
even that's even worse. That's even
No, I
more.
saw what
Pres-
Savon sent me. I sent what Savon sent me earlier, and
yeah,
and what was shared with me was things that has
yeah,
been talked about for a very long time. So it wasn't really some new riveting information. It was always been known that he might not have been the culprit or the aggressor of the situation that
right.
night, and he may be doing a bid for someone else. And I think it may be his case gets revisited, and if that's the case, then it'll play out the way it needs to play out. But it was, that's
My
what
whole
it
thing
is.
is who you mad at. If you see me up in court facing a whole bunch of charges, who you mad at? Are you looking at somebody else? Is it somebody else's fault or is it my fault? Who we mad at? I'm not sitting in jail for nobody I didn't shoot. That's me personally. If the rest of y'all want to go sit in jail for somebody who you didn't shoot, that's on you. I'm not doing that. Never. If I'm sitting in jail for popping somebody, I popped them. That's it. Yeah, I mean, now as far I think we got to start looking at the source. For me, I only blame the source. If you find yourself in a crazy situation, I got to ask, well, what the heck was you doing? Why is you there? You know what I'm saying? That's it. You know,
Yeah, I
that's it.
mean, actually, I kind of agree with Leroy, man. It's like trying to defend yourself afterwards when you didn't speak up and defend yourself in the best way possible. It's like, cool. I don't agree with anybody innocent being locked up for what they were. I mean, for something they didn't do. But, bro, if you had a chance to fight this with all your might and you wouldn't be in this predicament in the first place, it's kind of stupid to me. But ultimately, when I'm looking at the case stuff, I always had a suspicion of if she was shot or not, but it's not. It's like I wasn't there. There's only them that's in it, and I always thought there was some fishiness around that. Um, Especially, I thought it was a lot of fishiness more so from just the actual thing of her being shot, but around her friend Kelsey. I always thought that that was fishy. The immunity thing with her. Anytime when there's granted immunity, it makes me perk up my eyes. Like, why does this person get an immunity? You know, what is it that's so incriminating against them that they need immunity? So that's one thing that raises eyebrows. But Tory Lanez did this to himself as far as putting himself in that position where he didn't fight hard enough, and now you want to fight after you're in prison. Is I don't know. It's kind of wild to me. But one thing that I can say about this trial is, I mean, or about this whole situation, um, it's just mainly if she wasn't really shot and if she knows she wasn't really shot, who gave that story and why was it ran with?
That's
And
interesting.
and then another thing that I would like to think about when it comes to this is like just using common sense, right? Who would have more motive to shoot Meg? You were talking about the guy that's in the pool that was having the time of his life with Kylie Jenner, or two drunk women that are getting into an argument in the car because they found that they both were sleeping with the same man. Who has more
Hello.
motive? So I always looked at it from that sense of it and then try to draw based off facts. But like I said, none of us was there. I don't have a dog in this fight, but I think with some stuff that's being shown or whatever, I think there's some things that you should probably consider and question if you're on the fence or whatever. And then you have an eyewitness coming out and he said he's seen it all. And in the recording, he's basically saying, hey, I seen the woman fire the gun. The guy was in the back seat. The short guy was in the back seat when this happened. So that's an eyewitness. We can't go against eyewitnesses. But like I said, we'll see how it plays out. I just think it's kind of stupid to retroactively want to fight for your innocence and stuff like that in this sense. But when it was
Yeah,
on grand trial for you to go do that, you didn't speak. So yeah, I'm with you, Leroy. I feel like he kind of did this to himself too. So we'll see.
yeah, you waited too late, bro. You don't want to wait till you get in jail. Then it's too late. You know what I mean? That's what you got lawyers for. That's what you got your people that's supposed to defend you. They supposed to ask questions. Well, let me see the photos. Where? Let me see the witnesses. Let me see the police report. This, that, and the third. Your lawyer supposed to go all through all of that. You know what I mean? But once you already locked up, and we see what happened to him when he was in the jail. Jail is not where anybody wants to be. Trust me. Trust me. You don't want, because when you get in there, you gonna see you not the toughest no more. You thought you was the toughest until you got in there. And that so it's like I gotta look at the source, man. I gotta look at the source. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? I don't want nobody to be sitting in there unless you're just a crazy person, but or a person that did something really bad. But if an innocent person, nah, I wouldn't wish an innocent person nobody to sit in there. That's the worst place because you sitting around the real savages, not the academic savages, or do you savage, the real actual savages. What you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see how this next stuff play out. I mean, like I said, if this man truly didn't do what he's sitting in jail for, he deserved to be out. But if he did, he deserved to be in there. So, I mean, let's see how what happens from there. If he'll even get a retrial. I mean, it's kind of shaky in this, but they're politicizing it. It's getting a lot of attention. They just release all that evidence. We'll see how it goes.
That's all we
Yeah,
can do. You know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
it is what it is. We're still watching the Diddy's trial unfold. I think it's in his third week. Um, I got not a lot to say
What
about it.
is it, Ron?
I think what's been presented so far, to me, is weak. I don't, I think that they've been painting a picture of him being a terrible guy, but I don't think he's been on trial for being a terrible guy. I don't, I have yet seen anything that tells me that he should be, convicted or sent to jail for life based upon these things. Now, is he have they presented a case that he may be a terrible person? Sure, but to be in jail for life, I don't know if these charges warrant that. I think it's a kind of an overreach, but we'll see how it plays out.
Is it though? I don't know if it is or if it isn't. But I'm saying if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So, man, hopefully, we'll see how it goes because it could go either way. But, however, everything matters. See, we want to compartmentalize this matters and this don't matter. But really, in people's mind, everything matters. If they see you out in the street and you just doing something completely crazy, and then they see you later, and then you be like, well, I'm not charged for that though. So what you saw doesn't matter. They never gonna forget what they saw though. That's the whole thing. You could try to act like they forgot what they saw, but they never gonna forget that. So I think I'm not again. I'm not. I got no dog in this fight. I don't wish that for the man. But I think as a culture, we have to really look at the direction we're going in because we have Kendrick over here, we got Diddy over there. We have to look at a direction. Where are we gonna go? Now, if we want to keep being going crazy, we'll keep going crazy. But when they get us in the courtroom, though, what we gonna do? Cry? We gonna cry about it? When we facing the jury, we facing the judge, we facing the police, the prison. What we gonna do? Cry? I'm not finna cry in front of this judge. I'm finna just take it whatever it is because I chose to do whatever I did. That was my decision. So I gotta stand on that. So I wish the best, but in my personal opinion, it's not looking good because the feds, they pretty accurate. When they shoot, they pretty accurate. It looks like they gonna miss until you get right to the end and you find out they done hit the target. And it's like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, to me, in my opinion, like I said yesterday, I think Diddy gonna go down on one of those charges. Um, it's just too many things that have came out about him that I feel like it's enough to convince a jury that he shouldn't be on the streets no more. Um, but like I said, I didn't see what the testimony was today. I did see his lawyer requested a mistrial and they denied it. I did see that. I know there was like a couple assistants or something that was on stand today, but you're right. They've been doing a good job painting him as the most the terrible guy that he is, but
Tar and
know how
feathering.
that stacks up towards the charges, but we'll see, man. Honestly, I think if anything, they're gonna get him on that trafficking charge. I always said that once it's already been solidified that he was paying for sex workers, and if he was in charge or planning with flying them across state lines or anything of that for the purpose of those freak offs, whatever. I mean, I think that's enough to prove that, but the coercion and the abuse and stuff is like that is enough to just prove that he had violence and um he was making people do this by force or intimidation or whatnot, and that's what they're gonna stick along with that. And I think that's why they're going down the rabbit hole of getting all these accounts of abuse on him to try to tie that in together. But like I said, it's not looking good for him in my opinion. I do think he's gonna go down, but we'll see.
Damn. It's it is
He
what
said,
it is.
"Damn,
Now I said damn because I just
right."
these stories are so, let me be politically correct. They're so tragic and heartbreaking. You don't hear stories like this ever, but for him
I
to
mean,
be go to jail for life,
yeah,
it's a damn type of situation. Let me go to the super chat real quick. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, wait, Tory apologists kept saying that Meg wasn't shot. She stepped on glass. Now they're saying that she was shot by Kelsey. Which one is it? Jermaine
Well,
Johnson, go ahead.
I don't think the story is that Kelsey shot her. I think the story is that Kelsey fired a gun. I think
right.
that's what they're saying. The eyewitness said that he seen a girl fire a gun. They never said that it connected. They just said there was a tussle and she fired the gun and the guy jumped out the back seat to try to break it up. And so that's what I'm thinking that's occurring. I mean, they have the body cam in the evidence that's showing that she stepped on the bottle. They released that unseen body cam footage so that clearly shows she stepped on the bottle. And then when she's in a hotel bed, they asked her about another cut that was above it, and she said she had that the day before. So you look at Kelsey, and they released the pictures of her in the police station, and she has blood on her legs too. So how did Kelsey get blood on her legs? Was she tussling with Meg, who also had a cut on her foot? Then they have pictures that show she with a knot on her head. It shows a retracted text message from Kelsey to when she sent out on her friend saying that Tory shot Meg. I mean, it's enough that's been retracted to it probably get him a retrial. But like I said, I don't know how that's gonna play out. I have no dog in that fight. I'm just going based off what was
I mean,
presented to
get on it fast. Like somebody accuse you of doing something, don't just sit there and wait. You be like, "Oh, you accuse me of something? Okay, bet. My lawyer gonna get at you," and you get on it immediately. You know what I'm saying? To start, if you, especially when you know you didn't do something, you get on that immediately. You don't let them people get you up in there and get you behind a jury and start a whole case, and now you sitting behind the wall. You get the ball rolling immediately. No, I didn't do that. They tripping. You know what I'm saying? And if you are a person who got some sense, then your lawyer is somebody. You pick your lawyer, and you pick your lawyer based upon their reputation for handling business. Now, when that lawyer shows up, they're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, get my guy out of there." Get period. They're not going for anything else because they're already gonna cross the T's, dot the I's. You know what I mean? It's not always perfect, but everything that is done in the dark is gonna come to the light. Hip hop culture as a whole, we got away with a lot of stuff, but it's gonna start coming to the light now because it's a direction we have to make. You know, now people want to believe that, cool. People don't, cool. But we got to choose which way we're gonna go. I said weeks ago, I think hip hop should detach itself from the street. And and people was like, nah, hip hop's rooted in the street and it's always the street. I understand, but in an age where they got cameras on every single corner, cameras on every single pocket, on every single phone, should we detach now from the street just based upon just the common sense of it? That's all I'm asking, because these is artists. A lot of these dudes is artists. They not street guys. They make music. So why are we gonna bring them down for? A lot of these people in the music business, they not from the street like that. They publicists, they went to school, they promotional people, they radio people, they DJs, they graphic designers. They're not street people. So if we keep attaching that element, we bringing people down that was never cut from that cloth anyway. For what? Just to look cool? So these are just questions, I want to ask. I don't wish jail on nobody. I hope everything works out. But, we got to start moving correct because this is a business, man. Hip hop. It's a culture, but it's a business too. Understand?
just stay out of it. You know what I'm saying? That's just stop putting yourself in these situations. It's that simple. I don't know
Yeah.
how you grind so hard to get to this point of success and you throw it all away due to a bad decision. I mean, I just can't imagine reaching success of being a multimillionaire and you throw it away over some stupid shit. At the end of the day, these guys got to take accountability if they did something that's wrong. And if they didn't, then fight for it. But I don't feel bad for no millionaire that decided he want to be a criminal and do some stupid shit that will give it all up. I mean, you put yourself there, bro. But if you didn't do it, fight for your life.
And don't show up in a battle that's supposed to be just lyrical, and you show up in that person's neighborhood taking footage. Like, look, I'm on your block. I'm in front of your store. Like, you don't need to do all that because you're asking for a situation, and it's like, why?
And
Just
I
so
hope
they can
they,
show
and I hope individuals that's playing like that get the
why.
situation. I hope they get the situation they see, because that shit is
You
silly.
don't want.
When I was when that was sent to me in the chat yesterday in the group text, I was like, man, this is getting silly. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, it seemed like there's some West Coast cat that came out to New York, walking around the boroughs saying he on the block, he this, he that. It's just silly, man. We too old for these
I
type of
know
games,
somebody who
man.
did that. I know somebody that went on somebody's block. They said, and respect to him. I'm not. He knows who he is, right? He went on the person's block. Look, I'm in a battle with this person. I'm gonna go to their block. So he went on their block and he started shooting the the footage that he was gonna upload. Somebody walked up from behind him, let off some shots. He's in a wheelchair for life. So I'm saying, so it's like, he's somebody who was about to go. Like the hit record was already out,
Right,
and
right. So it goes back to the older dodge. If you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, Diddy is a terrible person, but getting 30 years to life in federal prison for paying for sex, absolutely insanity. I'm sorry, I just have to be honest. Yeah, I
okay,
agree.
I get it. I don't think that's it though. I don't think that's the only thing they're looking at. But I get it. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I get it.
yeah, no, we'll see how it plays out. Law and
You
hip
know,
hop, we'll have our eyes peeled on both these situations. Fellas, I'm out of topics tonight. I mean, I'm done for the night. Anybody else got anything for the night? This is a really light show for the Thursday evening.
I'm still on the battle thing. I'm still on the battle. People didn't like the Absol record. You know what I'm saying? I get it. People, the more time goes on, I kind of appreciate some of what I mean, not Absol. What Daylight did, I kind of appreciate. I think the main thing I'm trying to get across is I think the battle was a good thing. This is a battle where they came out and they was like, it's strictly lyrical. I think that's fire. I think that opens doors for us to do that. Oh, it's strictly lyrical. It's not no real stuff. Okay, cool. Let's go. And Daylight, he did his thing. Now Daylight lost the situation. I'm not gonna sit up here in front, but he did put a light on what he does. Right, right. You gonna put a light on what you do, where even if you lose it. You had other dudes in there, Rayvon. I hope his album wasn't affected by this battle, but he probably got some extra look for that album by doing that. Joey, he got some. He raised his status a little bit. So it's like all parties were able to come up a little bit more, and I think that's dope, man. I think that's dope. I think that when you do stuff like that, and it's known that this is competition, all we doing is lyrically sparring, that's all. I think that's fire, man. I think more artists, we should do that. Now if it gets corny, I think we'll be able to spot the corniness. That's me, because some people are worried about what if it gets corny. I think if somebody does something corny, we could spot it. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's just how I feel. But I appreciate the battle, and I think it was dope for everybody, man. I enjoyed those 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed that. So more of that. You know what I mean? More, and now again, because we come from, we're not even seeing that no more, and that was getting weird. Like to be honest, like how come nobody's battling? No subliminals, no shots thrown. No, it was just too friendly. Like so I like the competition aspect, what I mean? And I'm glad it stayed on wax as it should. Academics, relax, Absol, relax. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we don't kind of make it a show. You know what I mean? It's hip hop. That's all it is, man. Lyrical sparring. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt, no doubt. Servant, any final thoughts for the night, brother?
Nah, man. It's just like I'm looking forward to this Clipse project. I'm looking forward to ASAP Rocky dropping. I don't know if he still even released the date yet. I'm hearing some rumbles that him and Young Thug might have a collab album coming or in the works. So we'll see what happens with that. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of looking forward to the BET Awards with this 106 and Park reunion with Lil Wayne performing. I'm kind of like Kevin Hart being the host. I'm kind of looking forward to what the BET Awards are gonna do to redeem themselves from last year. Like I said, the BET Awards wasn't so bad last year, but it was an election year. They're kind of like, having it in tune with that a little bit more. It kind of took away from the show, in my opinion. But the BET Hip Hop Awards was terrible. So I hope they like redeem themselves with this
That
with
was
this
pretty
award
bad.
show. And
That
so
was.
yeah, it was bad. So
I
I'm looking forward to
remember that.
what the overall BT Awards show is going to be, and them kind of redeeming themselves with that. Other than that, man, uh, I'm just looking for more music and less controversy and less BS, man. Like, and I hope again that Joey comes with a good project, because like he proved himself in his battle. I said that yesterday. I think that he proved me wrong on what I thought was going to happen between him and Daylight, or
Ray
you know
Vaughn.
that. Yeah, well, no, I didn't really have expectations of what Ray's gonna do. I'm not mad at what Ray did. I'm not mad at what Ray or Reason did. My only criticism with Ray, like I said, coming with that early West Coast type of bop thing, coming off like sharing all the Kendrick stuff and everything. I just thought that wasn't smart. But actually,
Miscalculated.
I'm not mad at Ray Vaughn's like rebuttals, and I'm not mad at Reason. But the rest of them cats, yeah, man, it was bad, bro. The Absol actually majorly disappointed me. I said that, I talked about that yesterday. But Daylight, I feel like he missed a moment, very underwhelming, and it just kept on getting bad from there for me. So yeah, Joey held his own, and he won that, and I just capitalized off it from here. Um,
Think he got
and
about 6 months, for the rest of the year,
I,
trying to,
I, I honestly don't have
you
no doubts that he's going to come with something that's bad. I actually think whatever he releases from this point is going to be pretty good, because he seems hungry. And when you hungry like that, and you're in your creative bag, and you feel inspired, I think that I don't see him coming with nothing less than a good project. I really think it's going to be good. I have no doubts about it. I'll actually be disappointed if it is bad, but I really don't even want to speak that into existence. I think Joey's in his bag right now, and I think he'll deliver. I think the Clipse is gonna deliver on this album. I think ASAP is gonna deliver when he drop. I'm interested in what this Wayne project is gonna sound like. But I don't have major expectations for it. So I'm just looking forward to these releases as they come, and when they come, we'll talk about them.
Yeah,
no
I mean,
doubt.
I'm interested in Lil Wayne. I think he's got the Ye is gonna be on the album. I think Billie Eilish is gonna be on the album. I know Wyclef did some things on the album, so I'm looking forward to that. I may, in fact, depending on if I can get some situations with the wife and kids straight, I may go to New York next week to the Madison Square Garden show and talk to the people outside the arena. I think that'd be good for us, to kind of tap into the Lil Wayne situation next week. So stay tuned for that. If I can swing that, I'll be up in New York next Friday on the 6th when the album drops. Looking forward to Pete Rock and Common Auditorium Part 2, Volume 2. I'm looking forward to the new Raekwon album. I'm looking forward to De La Soul.
Where's the Raekwon? That was
Looking
supposed
look
to come out.
looking forward to Supreme Clientele 2. I'm looking forward to Slick Rick's album that's coming out. I'm looking forward to the Nas and Primo project. I'm looking forward to did the Alchemist and Mos Def project drop yet? The
It,
Alchemist
it,
and
didn't, it didn't drop. I would
the
have been on that. You know what I'm
Alchemist and
saying?
Mos Def. I'm looking forward to the Alchemist and Big Sean. I'm looking forward to I think 2 Chainz has another situation about to drop. I'm looking for the new 2 Chainz to come out. Um, so there's a lot of dope albums coming. I think it's gonna be a really big 2025. I think the fall off. I mean, the fall off. I think the fall off will come in the fall. I've been saying it for like 2 years now, but I really think the fall off is gonna come in the fall. The Clipse album. Looking forward to
Do it, man.
that. Uh, and I
Do
hate
it.
to say it, Super probably gonna be like, man, Ron, you tripping. A lot of folks in the audience gonna say I'm
Well,
tripping. But I don't give a damn. I'm looking forward to Iceman. I think Iceman gonna be with I
Uh,
think Drake gonna drop some shit. And I
I
know
can't with Drake.
I
I
know
can't.
it's for the ladies. If it's for the ladies, we all win. We all win. You know what I'm saying? If
I
you
don't think it's
going
gonna
Do
be a
we?
lit album. I think it's gonna be
Do
him
we?
spit. I don't think it's, or it could just be him just doing his overall covering, touching all bases. But I think it's gonna be
Drake.
him spitting. I
Man.
don't see him coming out with a solo album and not spitting at this
right? You
point.
can't name the album Iceman and be singing about
If I'm Drake, the way I'm spitting coming out the gate, you would think they let a dragon loose. Like I'm coming for vengeance. I'm coming for blood. That's me. Because you not just going, I'll be out here talking about me in a way. And then when I come out, I'm not bringing dragon fire. I'm going crazy. And that's the only thing why I doubt Drake. Because to be honest with you, Drake, and I like your music. I mean, I haven't for a long time too, but I know that what you're capable of. And for a decade plus, you have given me these soft ballads, these relationship subtlety songs of your how your feelings go about these young ladies or the women you deal with. I understand it, but you a rapper. You rap. Where is that? Where's that guy? Where's comeback season guy? Thank me later guy. Take care guy. The mixtape. Where's that? Where's that guy? The EPs. Like, I don't understand it because you sitting on an arsenal. You sitting on an arsenal of fire. I don't know, but I can assume that you were in the studio with an arsenal of fire just in the hard drive right there. It's right there. And so you not putting that out? I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. You know what I mean? So it's like Kendrick out here, Kendrick out here doing stuff that is Michael Jackson level. I know I got y'all mad yesterday. Okay.
Anyway, man.
Kendrick
Anyway,
is out.
man.
Do y'all know what Kendrick is out here doing every night?
This is what we
Every night for 10 million.
this is what I didn't say anything that could be
Y'all
deemed
know
as
how
hate.
many bags
I
it takes to
haven't
put
said
10 million
anything.
in bags?
I've been on my best behavior. I didn't say anything that could be deemed as hate all show. I didn't even mention
I give it
homie's
to you,
name.
bro. You've
I
been
didn't
good.
I
You've
didn't
been
say
good.
You've been
anything.
good.
I didn't say anything. But now you're gonna talk about Michael Jackson. Man, this is getting too crazy for me,
It's
man.
gonna
Come
take
on.
you about 5 hours to count $1 million. It's gonna take you about 5.5 hours to sit there.
I
One,
don't want to.
two.
I don't got time to do that. I just put that shit in the
You
bank.
know counting $10 million, how long that's gonna take, and you doing that every night.
I ain't gonna
You
count
gonna
it.
break the money machine. The money machine broke. Cause you gotta get the other money machine. I
I don't
done
want
broke
to do it.
this.
I don't want to do it like that. I'll have the bank do it. I ain't finna count no
Yeah, I
money
know
like that.
I know.
Shit.
I'm messing around. But Kendrick is out here doing stuff that just don't even make no sense no more. He has left Earth. Kendrick has left planet Earth. Now also Eminem just won album of the awards, and people was mad about that over Kendrick. Y'all didn't have no smoke for me though. If y'all noticed, when it came to album of the year last year, I didn't have Kendrick's GNX in my list. I had LL Cool J, I had Common, I had Master Ace, I had Vince Staples, I had a whole bunch of people, but I didn't have Kendrick. Y'all, I had J. Cole. Y'all didn't bring no smoke my way. You know what I mean? But respectfully, Kendrick is out here leaving Earth. So Drake, what's going on? What is going on, Drake? We know you can rap. We know this. So hey, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it because it's been too long, man. You've been doing
Man, so
years.
I'm looking in the chat. Soup and RJ, they talking about Atlanta and fell off. Come on, man. The culture still comes through Atlanta,
Atlanta
man.
fell off.
Atlanta, the culture still runs through Atlanta, man. We got Young Nudie, we got Future still bubbling, Thug still bubbling.
Y'all may
You
have
talk about
fell off. Y'all may have fell.
from a
May have
female
fell off.
perspective, we got Lotto still pumping out. You know what I'm saying? Come
Y'all
on,
may have
man.
fell off.
We
If
ain't
that's the
falling. The whole culture comes through Atlanta, man.
y'all
That's
may
just
have
what it
fell
is, man. It is what it is, man. I don't make the rules.
off.
Atlanta, we've been having this thing for a very long time,
Love
and
y'all,
I
man.
don't see that changing anytime soon.
I
You know what I'm
love
saying?
y'all, but y'all need to go get Saha outside. Go get 2 Chainz outside. But the guys that y'all got that y'all think running stuff, they running it, I think, by kind of default. Meaning they're running it based on relationships built by the radio stations. And the radio stations like, let's just keep them afloat, guys. Let's keep them going. They're playing
Ji
old songs.
we got JID still doing this
Come
thing.
on, man.
We got 21. I mean, let's be for real, man.
JID with you, JID. What's that single? Make that ass go. What? Make that ass something. JID. I need to know what's going on. JID, you a real MC. I need to know what's
And the
going on. It ain't
kids
about money no
and the
more. It
and
ain't
the
about
kid
the money.
And the kids, it's not even my type of time, but the kids are still tapped into Playboy Cardi, who dropped one of the biggest albums of the year.
Yeah,
Not my cup of tea.
I ain't going for
So
it. I ain't
how can we say Atlanta fell off when we got the guy that dropped the biggest album
going.
of the year in Cardi? You still got Lotto bubbling.
What guy that dropped the biggest album of the year?
Playboy
Who did that?
Cardi, if you look at the numbers in hip hop, he dropped
But
the
y'all
biggest album.
wasn't jacking Playboy Cardi. Y'all was
I'm
telling me it
saying it ain't
was
for me. It ain't for my generation, but I'm saying for the youngsters, this
whack.
it's
Man,
Cardi still got the youngsters lit.
ATL. I gotta be honest with you, ATL. I'm losing. It's losing the it's getting lackluster, man. I gotta be honest because if y'all gonna just put everything on Future's shoulders forever, Future is getting Future. He got to be tired. He running the ball every play.
Hey,
He running. He
I'm
running
not,
the ball.
I'm just calling like I see it. If you look at the numbers,
Me too.
Playboy Cardi
Me-
had one of the biggest albums of the year. It just is what it
Y'all don't
is,
rock
man.
with that. Y'all don't rock with that. How many of y'all playing Playboy Cardi for real? Y'all don't give me that. Don't you do that.
And
Don't you do
I see I was on my best behavior all day, man.
that. I
My best
appreciate it.
behavior all day.
I appreciate it.
I was in couple of different states. I heard Atlanta everywhere I went. I heard Atlanta everywhere I went.
Yeah,
I
I
heard Atlanta
respect it.
every. There's nowhere I don't go. I don't hear nothing. I don't hear Atlanta with me.
Yeah, but that's what I said. I think y'all got
New
relationships with
York
the
can't
radio.
say that. Philly can't say
The
that. A lot of
radio.
people, Texas can't say that. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere I
I
go,
like.
I'm gonna hear Atlanta. Anywhere on this United Continent, it might be on the globe.
I'm not mad.
I'm gonna hear some Atlanta, and that's just a
I think
fact.
that I think that y'all should build a statue in the middle of Atlanta of the Migos. And every day y'all should walk past the Migos and salute. Yeah, every day I need y'all to salute the Migos and put a Future statue there too. I need y'all to salute the Future and statue Migos every day. I mean Migos statue because that's the sound. That's the sound that held y'all together. Let's keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for the Migos,
Yeah, y'all finally found an opportunity to hate on the city. That's fine. But yeah,
love y'all,
Savon
Atlanta.
knows this as a DJ. Savon, you travel to anywhere you go, you're gonna hear Atlanta,
I
and
love
that's just a
y'all.
fact,
Yes,
man.
My
you are.
coast
That's
ain't
just
perfect.
that's a
You're gonna
fact,
hear
man.
Future, you're gonna hear Migos, you're gonna hear Gunna, you're gonna hear. I mean,
Mm-hmm. You
where
right.
you're at, you're gonna hear some Chainz. You know what I'm saying? Like, but these are guys.
Chainz.
Yeah, these are some guys that you're not even
You're gonna hear
gonna
little
hear.
baby. You're gonna hear little baby. You're gonna hear you're gonna hear a lot of folks,
That's
man.
Carolina.
Hell,
No. You. That's Lil Baby. I'm talking about Da Baby. I think Two Chains, man. I'm really interested to see what Two Chains does because I've always thought Two Chains was ridiculous fire. So if he,
Thug about to activate. When Thug activate, it's over for you guys, man. You know what I mean? You know, it is what it is, man.
come on, man. I'm just looking for
You got
anything.
YF and Lucci that's out now too.
Right. I mean, let's y'all are acting crazy, man.
I'm hating. I'm hating.
No other city can say what I'm saying right now. Anywhere you go
Hating.
in the continental United States, in all 50 states, every DJ gonna play an Atlanta record tonight.
Okay.
There's not one city you can go to: St. Louis, Denver, Rhode
Okay.
Island, North Carolina, Florida, South Carolina,
California, we good.
Texas,
We
Nebraska,
good.
You're
Boise,
gonna hear
Idaho.
you're gonna hear a big record from Atlanta
You're
anywhere
gonna
you
hear a
go.
record from Atlanta, but you can't say the same for other places. You can't say the same.
California's all right. You check any chart. We good. But I'm just saying with Atlanta though, I hear you, and I think it's because of the template that Migos set. Because until then, I'm
It's
not
bigger than
seeing
just the
nobody.
Migos, man. We had they had Future,
I'm not
they
seeing
had
y'all step
other
outside of that cadence. I'm not seeing y'all step
Two
outside of that
Chains,
cadence. Keep
Two
in that
Now,
cadence.
Chains for
no,
them. They were fine.
Migos is a very. I'm not saying Migos is a very small part of the city, but they had their wave, they had their time, but there's so much more.
Killer Mike.
If you
Did
want to
y'all get
cite
behind?
Atlanta, you want to cite Atlanta over the last 10, 15 years, you have to talk about 21, you have to talk about Future, you have to talk about Little Baby. You know what I'm
That's
saying? You got
cool.
to talk about Gunna. I mean, those people, I want to say might have even done more than Migos. I mean, Migos was big, but I mean, to sustain it over the period of time,
I
I'm
think
sorry.
Drake should forever have an honorary Atlanta pass. Forever.
And
Drake
the
should
other
be
thing I'll
Atlanta.
say, like Atlanta
Is Atlanta.
Atlanta penetrated other places in music. You know, like even with R&B with Dallas Austin or Jermaine Dupri or a lot of those
Where is
artists
that?
in Atlanta, and you're gonna hear those records anywhere you go. I guarantee any top 40 club or any mainstream stuff you go to, you're gonna hear Usher. Yeah, that's Atlanta right there. Like there's certain ways you go to certain places, you're still gonna hear a TLC record. Like he's Ron's
I'm not
right. With
necessarily
new
talking about
Atlanta
what
or
you
old
hear.
Atlanta, you're gonna hear an Atlanta record, bro. It's like it's kind of
I'm
factual
not.
information.
I'm not
Yeah,
necessarily talking
I
about what
mean,
you hear. Just because I hear a song, does that mean that I have to like that song because I heard it? Do you know what I mean? Does that mean that?
That's nobody
You know what I
said
mean?
that. I don't know where you got that from.
Like Doja Cat is consistently on the radio with multiple songs. Do I have to be like, well, Doja Cat, Doja Cat, Doja Cat, Doja? If she's not pushing no boundary, what Kendrick Lamar is doing, he's pushing a boundary. You don't have to be Kendrick Lamar, but if I'm hearing 21 Savage, right, and shout out and respect to 21 Savage, right, but if I hear him consistently use a similar style, at what point does somebody else come and say, well, let me try this representing Atlanta? Where's the let me try this guy? You know what I mean? JID is that guy. I think JID is that guy. So
Well,
if
I
he
mean, fair enough. So while I'll give it Atlanta though, is like there's different sides of Atlanta. I think that do have different sounds. Like let's say for example, we got at one point in time we got Ludacris, Ti, and Jeezy. Neither of those three was doing the same type of like they didn't sound the same. Their styles was all totally different.
the
And then
Gucci Gang.
when you evolve now, it's just not Atlanta or certain Atlanta artists that sound the same. That's all hip hop that's kind of pushing the sound. We don't know where some of these artists are from, and because they sound like Atlanta niggas, we just tag them into being Atlanta niggas. Like Designer, we didn't know Designer was from New York. Y'all thought he was from Atlanta. Some people damn near thought he was Future. I don't think what Future does and what the Migos did and what Lil Baby did are the same. I don't. I just think
yeah.
I think those sounds are different. Just like I don't think like what 2 Chainz did in whatever class or who came out of Atlanta around them were the same either. Like there's different styles that come out of Atlanta depending on where you're from, what side you're on, and I think the overall sound that has been adopted as being pushed into the forefront is more of what I guess people would consider like the mumble rappers, but you can't just nail that down to just Atlanta because like there's so many other places that go and are trying to reduplicate that sound that kind of like drown that out in Atlanta as well when they had to,
Yeah, that's true. Huh.
so that's how I
They
look
did.
at it.
Man,
You know?
I hear what you're saying, Super. You're saying that Houston, Dallas, Memphis, Alabama is taking over the South in Memphis, but let's keep it a stack. Outside of Dallas, all these guys in these cities come to Atlanta to record. They come to Atlanta to
Yeah,
turn up.
y'all got the
They
sauce.
come
Y'all
to
got
they
the
come
sauce.
to they come into Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Yeah.
Memphis actually been on a Memphis has been like kind of like in Memphis and Texas been on a good little run that they have. I don't know who he's talking about that's speaking from Bama too much, but like as far as what's coming out of Texas and what's coming out of Memphis, Memphis been on a tear. Memphis has been good.
Yeah.
Um, you
Yeah.
know, but Texas,
Yeah.
you get your Megs, you get your Big X the plugs, you get, that's Houston and Dallas, you get some artists coming out of that. But Atlanta's still king of the South right now, man. Memphis has been doing really good through these last few years though, with Glorilla coming out of there, with when it was Dolph, when it was Yo Gotti, when it was like when there's just all those artists coming out of Memphis, man. Everything's been fine. Like
Yeah,
They was
what's
on
yeah,
fire.
and all those artists, they still come to Atlanta, and they still come. They tap in with the Atlanta DJs. They still record in Atlanta, and yes, Memphis has it, and they've had it for a long time. But all
yeah.
those artists still, they even damn near
But
live
I'm
in
not
it.
knocking that.
They live in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not knocking
So I mean,
that.
it is what it is, man. So if they,
I
I mean, it
mean,
ain't.
hey, I'm just saying, man. I'm rooting for everybody. I'm rooting for you, but it's like I don't know. I think y'all may be slipping. I think Atlanta, you may be slipping. I don't know, man. Maybe
Well, if we slip, so
maybe
what?
it's me.
If we slip,
Maybe
so
it's me.
what? We had a game for 25 years. So if we slip, so
Okay,
what?
cool.
I mean,
All
that's
right, cool.
fact.
So I'm not mad. I'm not
So
mad
okay,
at that.
maybe tired, man. Maybe it's time for something. Maybe the
I'm not
internet.
mad.
Maybe that's another thing. The internet broke up. If it breaks up Atlanta, having this lock on it, then that's fine. We had it for 25 years. I'm looking for any other city. I want to see Bama have it. Alabama have it for 25 years. That's not going to happen. I
I'm
want to
rooting for.
see I want to see what name a city. I want to see Charlotte
mean,
have
really,
25
that's what it's
artists.
been. It's been Atlanta, Chicago, and Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Those are kind of been the. I mean, in Memphis, of course, I would say Memphis is number 2
And
after Atlanta.
Houston had its run. Houston,
And then Houston, and
Did
then you have to give Detroit, Chicago. Like those
right.
those places have been booming. I mean, California is always going to do their thing regardless. I think California is like their own world. Like you're always going to get those California artists that's working and thriving. But as far as being pushed in the forefront, I think like California kind of gets the shadow treatment for some reason. But like Atlanta, Detroit, Chicago, Memphis, they've been on the tear. Houston been on the tear, man.
I could look at my own coast too though. I could say
ain't nothing coming out of Miami. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing really
It's not,
coming out of
unfortunately,
Miami.
it's not.
Miami cold. You know what I'm saying?
I, I just
Yeah.
think everybody, right, regardless of who you are.
Since Dirk been locked up, it's getting kind of cold in Chicago. To be quite honest, I ain't heard nothing really hot come out of Chicago in a minute. Let's keep it a stack. You know what I'm saying? New York has been cold. It's been on
I mean,
ice. You know what I'm
so
saying?
somebody Jack Lane, he said I'm geeked off West Coast being number one in 30 years. But again, like Savon was just saying, the West Coast is kind of its own ecosystem anyway. So even if you don't think they're number one, once you cross the state line over here, you just gonna hear back to back California records, and they got a big enough fan base to where California's gonna be all right anyway. It's just like everything else that comes out of here. It's too many people for it to not be all right. But
And I was on my
I
best
think
behavior. I didn't want to talk my talk.
everybody.
I didn't want to talk my
Go
talk.
ahead.
When I was in the pool parties
Go
and I was on my
ahead.
cabanas and I was listening to them DJs, I heard a lot of Atlanta records. I ain't really hear no
That's
Cali
great.
records like that. I'm just gonna keep it a stack with you. I ain't hear no Cali records like that. I ain't hear none.
We all
And
right,
I'm
bro.
out on the
We all
West.
right.
I'm in Vegas. I ain't hear no
We
Cali
all
I,
right.
records like that.
I was in Vegas. I heard a lot of Cali stuff. I heard
We
a
gonna
lot
be
of
all right, man.
stuff. I heard a lot
Yes.
of. I heard Tiger like they play Tiger in those
Oh
clubs and stuff.
yeah.
Tiger gets a lot of
Yeah, they
burn
play
in
Tiger
Tiger.
is
They
gonna be
play
all
Tiger.
right.
They play
Uh,
Tiger.
He
I heard they play
really does.
California Love. I'm just saying, that's kind of like nostalgic stuff. I'm talking about,
if Tiger really wanted to flaunt his success, he just doesn't. He just doesn't talk about it. But if he did, it would get different out here. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying. I think everybody from California to South, New York, whoever the Midwest, I think we should look at what Kendrick Lamar is doing. Put the music aside, like whether you like the music or not. Just the the impact that one could make off just releasing music. That looks crazy. Now everybody could do that. For whether you be from the South, New York, or the Midwest, you could all take a piece of that blueprint and see what you can do with it. You know what I'm saying? But that's pretty impressive. So I think everybody should look at that and and see what you could do. We all got the same 24 hours in a day. We all could pick beats, go write raps. So I wish everybody the best. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I don't care what region you're from.
I just do want to get back to regions all producing at mass high rates because even in Florida, we have artists that come from Florida, but it's not like a full movement of Florida being pushed. It's like they're scattered. We get people that come in, they go, and they come back, and they go. Because like I said, we have Rick Ross, we have Kodak Black, we have Bossman D-Lo, we had City Girls, we had, these are artists within the last whatever years. You get the Young and Ace, you had the Folios, those guys that came from there. You had Chameleon. You had at one point in time Tokyo Jets. Like we had artists out of Florida, but it wasn't like a full on onslaught of a movement of us pushing that.
Right.
The most time that I've seen Florida be reunited was during like that early Khaled "We Are the Best" thing when we were getting Ace Hood, Trick Daddy, and Plies and all them on Run Record and Rick Ross. But like Florida is scattered. We'll throw artists out there every once in a while, but and they'll do their thing and make headway. But honestly, I want all regions to kind of dominate so we can get that variety. We know what's popping in the Midwest. We know what's popping on the East Coast. We know what's popping on the West Coast. We know what's popping in the South. And I just wanted to get back to that. So
right. And to piggyback on what you're saying, Servon, I think we need to go back to the old. I hate to sound like the old dude in the room, but I like it when artists from different regions work together. Right? It'll be dope if Big X the Plug and Joey Badass made a record together. What does that sound like? You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
What
And
does
why
it
not?
sound like with Kendrick in a Big X the Plug record? You know what I'm saying? Or City
What's up?
Girls and maybe Lotto and maybe getting like Nicki on the record, you know what I'm saying? And they
It
collaborate and
all
do
works.
something dope. Or Two Chains and You know what I'm saying? 2 Chainz or one of them Florida cats, you know what I'm saying, or one of them
Yeah,
Texas cats make a record, you know what I'm saying? Let's just start working
they do
together. And that
both.
way, that way the DJs, and that's how they used to do it back in the day. That's why Jay hopped on a lot of different records. Like he hopped on the Juvenile High remix, you know what I'm saying? Master
Yeah,
P jumped on the 4321 remix, you know what I'm saying, with LL. That got that record played in the South, you know what I'm saying? They was just jumping on different records, you know what I'm saying? I think
that's what
J.O.
you're supposed to do.
Felony, Method Man, and DMX had a record, and Too Short and Jay worked together. You know what I'm saying? I think we should get back
multiple
to
times.
um, artists
No
in,
doubt.
in different regions coming together and jumping on each other's songs and making mixtapes. And that way, the
No doubt.
music can touch different. It can break that barrier, that invisible barrier. You know what I'm saying? I thought, even though the shits was duds, I thought the idea
Right.
that Cardi and Kendrick making records was a good idea. You know what I'm saying? It was back basically what I was saying is the records just wasn't good, but we need more of that. We need more of that. You
Yeah,
know
I
what I mean?
mean, TV off, a record like TV off, that was supposed to get passed around from the South to New York to the Midwest.
It should
That
be a
was supposed to get
remix.
passed around.
It should be a
And
remix
it
with
should have
Puff
been
on
a
it.
remix.
Puff should have been on the remix. Yeah, 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 yeah. TV off,
Every,
Playboy, and it should be like a
everybody, you
verse
know
on
what I
it. You
mean?
know what I mean?
Should
But
have
I mean,
got
we
TV
got to get
off.
back to that. You know what I'm saying? And that
That's
was
how
a
you turn
joke.
it up.
That was a joke. But
I mean,
Sauce
I don't
Walk,
think it really left with people collaborating with the South per se. You know what I'm saying? Because there's records with Jim Jones and Migos. There's records with, with other artists that's out
It
of
still
South.
happens
Ross
right now.
with just about anybody, that's been big in the game. Like I've heard a record with Doja Cat and Kodak Black on it. Like I think the South has always collab. Future has records with artists from other places. I think the South has always been collaborative with other regions more so than anything. You don't really hear those West Coast collabs as often with other regions as much. If anything, when speaking about that. But like I feel like
Hey, we
if
gotta get back to that.
it's been running hip hop for over 25 years and you're saying you don't hear those type of collabs, then you haven't been listening to music because that's who all the collaborative efforts has really been with is the South.
yeah, yeah. And what I'm saying, it was more so not to pick on the region. We don't have a lot of, apart from the
But
Jim Jones that you mentioned, and maybe that Pop Smoke and Quavo did something together, but you don't really have like. I would like to see Joey and I'll make a record with. I don't know. It's not the same as it once was, in my opinion. It's just what
also
it is.
DJ culture in general, because the DJs used to be just as important as the rappers. Then all of a sudden, the rappers just take a front seat to everything. DJ culture, that was a thing. We had the not before Khaled, but Khaled too. But we had Clue, we had Flex, we had Capri. DJ culture, that is a thing.
Because I'm
Do we
like, man,
remember?
we just mentioned like Larry June and Two Chains. That's West Coast and the South. That's a
Right,
collab.
right.
That's
You know
But
what I'm
fire.
saying? You see what I'm
That's
saying?
fire.
Like those
Yeah,
artists collab. We just had Currency featured on the Wiz project.
right,
We
that's true. That's
You
true.
know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
Like these are things that Cardi, she comes down here and has both collab with Meg and at one point collab with the City Girls. These are artists. Lotto have done people like the South has always been collabing with these people from different areas, bro. So like
Yeah, it's the
we we
South.
we,
Yeah, the
we
South.
love the
So
South.
The South is holding things
We love
together.
the South.
The South is
I
holding
gotta
things
say,
together.
man, Lamar is out here crashing the boards, though. He
South is holding
crashed.
things. South is the glue. But I don't want
Yeah,
to hear no Atlanta slander. No Atlanta slander. It's
yeah.
all good. And
My man
if we
K.
do fall, we had the game for 25 years. It's all G. It's all love.
yeah, I mean
Appreciate
it's
it.
time for a new wave, even if it's a new sound or whatever. If it doesn't move out of South, whatever, like it does need to be a new fresh sound in the game. I think everybody's damn near
Yeah.
about ready. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. Let's get it popping. Like I see
Clipse.
there's been much interest in getting back to actually rapping, you know what I'm saying, which is dope. But
For sure.
let's come on, man. Let's get back to it. Let's come with a new sound. Let's be innovative. Let's push the envelope further. We've been like in sound purgatory, because so many
On
people have
purpose, right?
it, and we got to get up out of that, man. We got to come with something fresh and new.
No doubt.
That's
No
a
doubt.
fact.
No
That's
doubt.
a
No doubt.
fact.
Now, really, this time we kind of took the
I'm gonna have
conversation
to
a little
bounce
bit.
in a few minutes, y'all.
Final words,
So,
Leroy. Then Servon, we can get out of here.
I just think two things could be right at the same time. We have our traditional sounds that we do, fire, keep those and then at the same time we could also do new sounds too, because we could walk and chew gum at the same time. So I think we could do both. We could keep it regional, and we can collaborate, and we could do both at the same time, same projects. We could walk and chew gum. You know what I'm saying? So that's all, man. I appreciate everybody. The battle was fire, and let's keep it going. It's hip hop, man. It's hip hop. We winning the
No,
culture.
no doubt, no doubt. Sir Vaughn.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to these new projects. I'm looking forward to these collabs. Like I said, it's been something that surprised me within this year or whatever. I wasn't expecting to hear Larry Jones and Two Chainz. I wasn't expecting to hear Doechii collab with West Side Gun. I didn't expect to hear that. She's from Tampa, Florida. So I'm looking forward to just hearing people push a new envelope in music and move the needle and come with something new and innovative, and of course get back to putting those efforts into your lyrics and making complete songs and good bodies of work. So I'm looking forward. Like I said, there's always calm before the storm. So I think we're gonna get to the place that we're all wanting it to be. And I just think it's just that little quiet part before it starts popping again. This
For
is a
sure.
good transition to what could be good years for hip hop.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, we appreciate you tapping in with us. You could be anywhere in the world, anywhere in the world, but you chose to be with us tonight. Check out these albums. We're gonna be back on the weekend round this weekend. I'm gonna chill out this weekend. I want to check out some more movies. I want to bring that movie segment back. Go and check out the new Mission Impossible. I don't know if you saw the Mission Impossible yet. Have y'all seen it yet?
Nah, I
I
didn't
got
see
to
it.
watch the last one, man.
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
I'll check
it's
it out.
dope, man. It's dope. The last one was dope. I watched it last week, and it was dope, man. So I'm gonna go check it out this week. And y'all be
Okay.
good, man. Y'all tap in with us, and we'll check out next time, man. Peace.
Sir.
Yes, sir.